Yeah, I've got Thunderstruck. That was from the board. First try. Actually,
I also need password for this laptop.
That was the normal one.
Eagle?
Yep. Put in the numbers again, and the capital letters on each word. Come on.
They are.
Ben, you said mics are off. Hopefully they're on.
They're on now.
Okay.
Show before the show. It's probably a good thing because, that secret, really engaging passcode you
Well, we're
have.
having to buy all kinds of stuff around here now.
Yeah. Well, you figure the show's a year and a half, and
I
that's
know,
about
I
how
know.
long things last when you use them that much in electronics these
Oh,
days.
dear God. Help us.
Things don't last the way they used to.
I kind of like the open guy behind me, Joe. Wait,
I do too. That's pretty
And I-
engaging.
should we be hearing anything in our ears? I don't hear anything.
You don't hear me?
No,
Okay, I
I
hear
don't have
you.
anything.
Plug your thing in a little bit again.
Oh, maybe it's.
No.
It is the show before the show. Good morning,
No, it was already
Ben
been
and
in.
Kathy and
It's been
Bindi
plugged in.
and Trisha and Chris. And Troy.
There we go. We got. Yeah. I mean, do we know what the issue is? And I hear you.
I have to wire everything up
Yeah.
for
Okay.
them over there every day. So
Romper room
or not
name
every
call.
day.
Okay.
Kimberly and Addie and Sherry and Mike.
Joe, you know what's going on behind me, man?
It's the open. I like the guy's hat. Just do it. That's what Republicans are doing right now. Just do it.
Yeah, it's too good.
It really is. And everybody, please share the show on whatever platform you're on. Share it, share it, share it. Also, find a friend. Find one friend that you're not sure what their politics are. Text them this show on whatever platform you're on. I found out.
Oh, you'll find
yesterday-
out.
You will find out. I found out. I texted to somebody I hadn't texted to yesterday. And it was awesome. It turns out she was a closet conservative. So that was great. Found out most of my neighbors are conservatives too. It's so enjoyable. Where I used to live was red country, and there were so many Karens in my neighborhood. And now I live in a mixed bag. And I don't know. I moved on the conservative street,
It's funny.
I guess.
I didn't know this happened to me recently. I was at Winghaven Country Club
Yes.
with Megan, girlfriend, and met a guy, and he's like, I was like, well, you know, I do a show. He's like, I listen. And I was like, what?
That's
I was
awesome.
like, what?
That's
I was like,
so
I had no
awesome.
idea.
People that I bought the house, her mom came over and got a package off my desk and said that she has not listened before, hadn't heard it, but she would be listening today. She's like, I like Donald Trump too. Like she was whispering it.
That's good stuff.
Mhm.
That's really good stuff. I like that. This is the show before the show, everybody. Getting ready to start. We start about 8 o'clock. I have to put some of the other things together in here. Oh, yeah. CBS poll says that Trump has a slight lead over Biden in battleground states.
Yes.
Whatever.
Just light. It's only a little bit. I mean, that's when you know that that person is so fake who wrote that article.
Well, no, it's the CBS polling.
Oh, their poll. Okay. Well, whoever did the
That's-
polling is a
yeah,
liar.
that's- oh, funny, fun stuff. There we go today. Guys, thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing the show. It is a Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, July 17th. Big show coming up today. Mike Kehoe's coming up at 8:30.
Yeah, that's great.
One of the leading candidates for Missouri governor. Tomorrow, Bill Eigel will be on.
We just now got to get Ashcroft on. Now I know he's been on
Yeah.
several times, and he usually contacts us. But
Oh, yeah. Oh, they do.
Aaron's saying the ABC poll said the same thing. Vic.
Mm-hmm.
And Trisha's like, we all know they're getting paid well to lie.
Well, they're easing it so when they steal the election, you know, they don't have to.
Right. They can't act like Donald Trump was just so far ahead.
Right.
Well, of course not. Of course not.
Yeah, only slightly ahead. Because, I mean, we say this all the time. They only have two more things that they can do to him. Try to unalive him again and steal the
Oh, my
election.
God.
And how are they going to try to steal the election? Now did you guys know, and we can cover it more in a day or two, but did you know that in October, Vic, they're having a huge seminar in
I'm
Washington,
listening to you.
D.C. about bird flu? Now, it's not like it's now or next month. They're doing it in
Really?
October. So don't be surprised if they're try to stop the election because bird flu comes. And I know we've been talking about that, and I don't think people are going to fall for it, but I think they are going to try it. They're going to try to scare people.
It's a mail-in ballot scheme.
Uh-huh. That's right. Because that's how they do that is, oh my gosh, don't go out. You're going to kill grandma. I do believe if they can't unalive him by then, they will try that.
Wow.
There's a big seminar with people coming from all over the world. In what month? October.
Interesting.
And like Trisha's saying, bird flu has only affected a very few people, and like they don't even really get sick. It's affected some chickens.
Yeah.
That's it. Hence the bird flu. And people are not going to fall for it this time.
Either that or it's a push for that lab-grown chicken meat.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's right. Yeah, I hope my Chick-fil-A prices don't go up now that they just destroyed a bunch of chickens.
Hey, Jojo. Pro Jojo.
Heroes.
Let's get it started, buddy. I got to get used to us not having music now.
We got music.
I don't have any music.
You don't hear
No,
music?
You don't hear the music.
I don't know what's going on, but everything technically has been.
It has been, yeah. It's been
ever
really
since we
weird.
got the new board. I do
Well-
hear music, and we've had good music on today.
Even the day that the other board went down, like everything's just been weird.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
start the show.
All right.
Hey guys, welcome to cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Bro Jones. No, I'm not going deaf, but you ever know you put headphones on and all I have is scratchiness in my ears, and it sounds like I'm speaking in stereo.
Yeah, and I think it's
echo.
That might be your earbuds.
I think it's
And-
just your earbuds.
And so anyway, that's what somebody said. Vic's going deaf. No, Vic is not going deaf.
I have a second set of earphones. Do you want them?
Hey.
I think it's your earphones.
You know what? We might be able to do that.
Yeah.
If you have one, sure.
Yeah, let me go check my book
Absolutely.
bag. Okay.
Terry said we had light music, which was good today. Hey, it is cancelthisshow.com. Glad you're here. We're ready to rock and roll. We bring the energy. We try to bring the facts and the truth every day. We knew this week was going to be good for the Republicans and the conservatives and the RNC, but I don't know if we thought it would be this good. Last night, I don't know how the Republicans get better tonight on Wednesday, and I don't know how they get better on Thursday. I know Donald Trump will be it. I don't know what they do tonight.
I know. I thought it couldn't get better. I almost don't remember Monday. I thought it was so good. I almost don't remember it because last night was even that much better.
All the heavy hit. I haven't looked at the lineup. If anybody has a chance to look at the lineup, please do
JD
so.
Vance is on tonight.
Yeah, so JD, I get that. JD will go tonight. And then, of course, we'll see and then, of course, Donald Trump on Thursday. But my gosh, they have other speakers that go besides JD Vance.
Right. I don't know who they all are tonight. I know last night was so great, and it was all about, make America safe again. And they had so many lay people.
Wow.
It was so profound.
And I tried to, and I watched a lot of it, and I tried to watch it as a middle person.
Yeah, that's good.
Not because a lot of times if you like what you hear, whether somebody who's presenting it is good or
Correct.
not, you'll still like, oh, that was really good, even if it wasn't good.
That's right. I know.
But
I'm
man,
like that.
Lizzie, but this was legit.
This was legit. And I'm like you. I do watch it through a lens, and I'm aware of a Make America Great person. I was the chick that once he went down the elevator, I've liked him. But I'm trying to see all of this as somebody that is still a Republican, but is a very moderate Republican, so that I'm like, everything Donald Trump does is great. So I think that's true. I think last night it was so good about the people down the middle. I don't know what you couldn't have liked about that. And if you're a far left Democrat, you would have hated all of it. But if you're just a moderate Republican, I don't know what you couldn't have liked about last night.
No, that's true. And we're going to get into all of that too. Coming up at 8:30 in about 24 minutes, we have Mike Kehoe. He's running for Missouri governor. Some polls have him tied or leading. Others have Ashcroft. Then the people from the Eigel camp will tell you that they're rocking and rolling, that they're increasing. And Eigel will be on our show tomorrow. So
correct. And he's going to be from Milwaukee.
Yeah, he is there.
Yes. So I think in a lot of states, particularly Missouri, the governor race right now, anyone can win. Even though I think at first it was Ashcroft's to lose. And for whatever reason, he's going down, and Kehoe's going up. Eigel is still third. But you know what? There's still so many undecideds. What happened last night at the RNC, those are the type of things that can change a governor's race too. So I just, anybody can win at this point. And usually by now, that's not the case.
And we're going to get into a lot of speeches from last night. You may have saw some of them. You may not have. DeSantis, Vivek. We've got a mom from New York City who lost her son, Nikki Haley. Mark Robinson, the first black, and he said it, the first black lieutenant governor of North Carolina, with a great shot to be the first black governor of North Carolina. Eric Schmidt spoke, Sarah Huckabee, Nikki Haley, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
all the way up and down. We'll get into that. Word also coming out that Washington University Transgender Medical Center is no longer. This was a huge story where a whistleblower brought it to light. And then Andrew Bailey, the Missouri Attorney General, followed up on it. We'll follow up on that story as well, talk about that. Also, a very interesting situation when it comes to the shooting, the assassination attempt against Donald Trump. Dan Bongino, Tucker Carlson speaking. And I'd like to get into this now because here's what we got. I'd like to hit this with what happened and the new information that's coming out. Then we've got the governor the man who wants to be governor, the lieutenant governor, Mike Kehoe at 8:30. And then maybe we hit everything from last night.
Yeah.
Right
sounds
after
good.
it. So we don't have to interrupt it. I don't know. We
No,
can
I
just
think
kinda,
that's a good plan.
but the thing that I wanted to show right off the bat is what Dan Bongino, obviously former Secret Service, he has the contacts and there's a reason to believe him. There is. With Tucker Carlson yesterday on a podcast, because that's where you get a lot of real news. Now it's on podcast. It's information like we do here. It's the technology. It's the setup where they were speaking about information that Dan Bongino has about what happened that day. Because right now, setting the stage, you still have Kimberly Cheatley saying she's not stepping down. They said that the only reason that they didn't put somebody on the roof was that because it was slanted.
That is so ridiculous.
Which is total bullshit.
Bullshit.
And you don't do anything like that when it comes to safety. Oh, well, it's a little slant. Well, we don't want somebody to hurt themselves. Give me a freaking break. Okay. So then Dan Bongino, Tucker, look at those two together. Outstanding. Listen to what he had to say about the intel that he's getting now.
So I was just showing Tucker some material from an unimpeachable source, let's just say, on the matter. That post, according to my source, that roof was supposed to be a police post. It was supposed to be someone there. They're now making up excuses saying the pitch of the roof. My source says to me, no one knows why the post didn't show up. But so that's a nonsense story they're putting out in the media. And I was also told that the Secret Service director has been given instructions from the administration and the DHS secretary. If you want to keep your job, you'll keep your mouth shut about this. They're not putting that out there, but if you get those site post logs and those police instructions and there was a post on there and they didn't show up and no one checked, someone could have got your dad killed within millimeters. So I was just showing Tucker some.
That was it.
Dan Bongino.
Yeah.
Did he say an unimpeachable source?
Yes. An unimpeachable
An
source.
unimpeachable source.
Isn't that interesting?
Who would that be?
Mm-hmm.
That was in charge or / responsible for there not being somebody there? The
Right.
reason we're still talking about this on Wednesday is because you start to find out, how did this happen? Where did the decisions get made? Who is responsible for an attempt on the president's life? Could it happen again? And
Oh.
how high up the chain
Mm-hmm.
does the deceit go?
Yeah. And, we can speculate. And I think because so many things have happened and they've done so many things to Donald Trump, so many of us predicted that this was going to happen. And I hope this time we actually find out who this source really is, because we need to get to the bottom of why they want to unalive him so much. We know why, but this has got to stop. It's got to stop. And, some people are saying, could it be Biden himself? Could it be Mayorkas? Could it be Obama? Because Obama's not impeachable.
Well, I couldn't see it being Biden unless they were trying to pin something on him or put something onto him. And by the way,
Correct.
do I sound all right?
We can hear you
Okay.
perfectly fine.
Yeah, you
Because
sound
I
great.
just want to let you know, I sound like I'm in stereo, which is very difficult as a broadcaster to talk when you hear like you're in stereo. Hey.
Yeah, you sound great.
Good. I just want to make sure that that's going. I want to make sure that that wasn't the sound that was going out, because that's the sound that I hear. I'm like,
I
yeah,
think
Vic's
it's-
talking. I sound like I'm talking into one of those auto tune. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
sound
Anyway,
like that.
and that was an announcement for Joe so that he knows, so we can make it natural,
I think
but still telling him about the technical things that are
I
going
think
on.
it's your line that runs to the chair.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Yeah.
Hey, I think it might be Jill. She loves power and money. Hate to say it, but
Yeah.
she's pure evil. That coming from the chat line.
Mhm.
Yes, you sound good. Coming from Megan. Kimberly says also Hillary. Now,
Yeah, it could be Hillary for
she's
sure.
not, but she doesn't hold an office. It's unimpeachable.
Yeah.
That's when you look at that, that is a Mayorkas. That's it wouldn't be an FBI source. It wouldn't be Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI.
Well, and I guess, I mean, it could be any of those. I mean, he's definitely giving a hint. And Dan Bongino is a great source to be calling that out. And he too has been calling out, they want him gone. This time, though, they were so sloppy. So sloppy. I mean, it was a little bitty venue, and granted, it's outside where more things can happen, but they made it so obvious. And they made it so obvious. Are they really that dumb? Or is it their anger and their hatred towards him? They don't care that it's so obvious.
Well, this story is not going to die. It's certainly not going to die. There's no way, especially when you have Dan Bongino bringing that up and actually calling out an unimpeachable source. Then you start to look at who is responsible when it comes for overseeing Secret Service. I mean,
Right.
literally, Kimberly Cheatley is not the person. It's somebody above her.
It is somebody above
So
her.
then this is the thing I loved about being a reporter, and I still kind of am, but it's, just imagine you have a picture. It's just like those crime scenes where A connects to B connects to C, when you have the detectives figuring out all the dots, all the information. This connects here, this connects there. There aren't as many unimpeachable people.
That's right.
I mean, there's only a few.
Mhm.
When you're at that top of the food chain, it's not going to take you very long. There are times when you're doing investigations where it takes a while because there's a lot of players and source. Could the person be here? Could the person be here? Or, is this the route? Whatever. This time, you see what's happening.
You do.
I mean, that's a Biden. That's a Department of Justice. I don't know if there's any other people that could actually oversee that. Would the CIA be over the Secret Service? I don't know. Somebody's got to teach me because I have no idea. Hell no. Mayorkas is Chill's boss, Homeland Security. I know.
Yeah. I mean, that one makes the most sense that it's Mayorkas, and you know that he has Trump derangement syndrome. I mean, we already know that. And so these people that are higher up, technically even than Biden, even though he's the leader of the free world, we know that he is not doing anything to be running this country. They saw an opportunity and they took it. And so, and when better to do it than right before the RNC? They want him gone. They did it. They picked an easy venue for that to happen. And, we talked about over the last couple days that this security detail was not the A team. And we come to find that out for sure, that Eric, even though he tried to defend some of the women, and I'm talking about Eric Trump, he said that is normally who's on his detail, not his dad's. So that just shows you they put somebody else that isn't normally on his detail. That's so obvious. So you definitely have the B or the C team. Then you leave a roof completely open. But the A team last night was definitely on Donald Trump. We saw the security last night was different than he had at that rally.
Yeah, since he's been there too. By the way, coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to talk with Missouri gubernatorial candidate, Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe. Some of the topics we're going to be talking about are the Trump-Vance election because he knows them pretty well. What's going on at the RNC. We'll get some campaign updates that are going on from that standpoint as well. We'll see. Mike, he's a big guy that wants to cut taxes. So those are some of the topics that we'll be covering with him coming up in just a little bit. Yeah, Glenn says it wasn't the A team. It was the DEI team.
It definitely was the DEI team for sure. For sure.
Glad you're joining us for cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house. Like, subscribe, share the show here Monday through Friday right now from 8 to 10 a.m. Central all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com. Could be changing some things around here in the upcoming weeks. We'll see where it goes because we want to be as big as we possibly can. Lizzie and I have been talking about that a little bit, just in regards to how the algorithms work and how to get more people watching your show, how to grow some of those situations. So we'll keep you posted on some of those updates that would be coming up. So glad that you're with us here on this hump day, July 17th. talking about what's happening in the world of politics as we look at some of the things that are going on. Okay, we had something that came down also yesterday, which just blew my mind, because there are success stories out there and you need to celebrate the successes. One of those successes is the fact that we had a big story that hit some time ago in the St. Louis area, and it was Washington University promoting transgender surgeries for families and kids. Well, a whistleblower told and brought it out what was happening at Washington University. Well, after that happened, you had some local TV stations, including Fox 2 News, that did, hit job stories against Andrew Bailey, because Andrew Bailey, the Attorney General for Missouri, jumped in and started to get some information and pressed them for it, and they wouldn't release their documents. So they were forced to release it. Information came out, and then what do you know now? Word has circulated, and I'm looking for, I think you sent it, Lizzie, didn't you?
I did.
I was trying to find your update from when you sent that yesterday. But the thing that shocked me about this is, quote, this happened late last night to the Big 550 KTRS. Washington University's pediatric care clinic is reportedly closing.
Yes.
So there'll be more information on that today. And of course, the former employee who drew national attention with allegations against the university's transgender center at St. Louis Children's Hospital says the pediatric care clinic will close permanently.
Yes, the whistleblower did her job.
This is
sure.
that's the kind of story that gives me chills, because when you go forward and you go public, you're going to be treated in a manner, you're going to be betrayed by people, you're going to be talked about poorly, you're supposed to not lose your job, but you may. But these things were going on. And the story that was done publicly was talking to a mom who took her own child to go be from a boy to a girl, I believe it was, and how Andrew Bailey just didn't have a heart and he didn't care. And we're like, wait. And these were kids who were under 18.
That's right.
And their parents were taking them there.
Yes.
So you want to talk about some wonderful news, and I don't care what side of the fence you're on when it comes to politics, but you're going and letting your kids change their sex. They're not even 18 years old. That's a problem. That is a serious problem. We'll call you out here for it. And we're not mean people. We have hearts. That is absolutely wrong. And Washington University was kind of trying to slide through here, there. And it's just a shame, because I talked about this before, where, I know a woman who is a super kind woman. And if you sat and talked to her, she would have you convinced, if you didn't have your guard up, that all these kids need to do what they need to do for their heart and their life. And she's a plastic surgeon when these kids get their surgeries done.
Yeah.
And if you met her and you didn't know that, you would say she is one of the sweetest, most kind women you would ever meet. But then that's the problem. The poison is in the sugar, and it tastes so good, but it will kill you. That's right. That is a really good analogy. I know a nurse that she performs laser surgeries on people's anatomies to make them from a man to a woman to a man. She doesn't like doing that. She's even a Christian, and she thinks it's against her beliefs, but she does it because these people are adults. She was not the whistleblower, and she listens to our show, so I won't put her name out here. But when it became to children, she wouldn't do it. She said, I'll do it when they're like 25 years and older, but I won't do it younger than that. So they had, even though this whistleblower took a risk, most of the nurses that also performed these laser surgeries were on her side. So I think that's why it's closing. Well, and it would also bring light. The other thing about it was recently still, though, too, that Andrew Bailey said that they were not, I repeat, they were not, Washington University's transgender care clinic were not cooperating with the investigation. They were not cooperating with handing over documents. Correct. I think it was recently that he said that. Then all of a sudden, now we find out news that they're closing. Yeah. They weren't going to release it. They're just going to close. Because I think if they release the documents, it incriminates a lot of people. So it's better off for them to close it. Because you know why? The money stopped coming in. WashU was getting a lot of donations, and then it stopped when Andrew Bailey started suing them. Do you think that's because it became public and people didn't want to be associated with that? Correct. Or do you think that the companies knew what they were doing already and people just didn't know? Yeah, you're probably right on the latter. I guess it doesn't matter. The problem is they're closing it. And hospitals are here for one reason. I'm not trying to be mean. Yes, they try to help, but hospitals are big business. They are big business. I go into hospitals. Go into a hospital. They're continuing to expand.
Yeah.
There's parking lots and parking garages going up and wings being built. It's sad, but it's true. That doesn't mean people are getting healthier. That means more people are having to go to the hospital for a variety of reasons
Mhm.
that we've talked about here. It's a business.
Yeah.
It is an absolute business to make money. So they're not going to keep a wing open if they're not making money. They're just not.
Right. And I agree with Paula, who said on the chat line, just be aware, even though WashU is closing it, just keep our eyes up and our ears open, because literally they could open up somewhere down the street under a different name.
Kevin says, thank you again, Attorney General Bailey.
Yes.
Paul says, I would still request the documents. He is. He's not going to be sitting back.
He's not going to stop.
And this is just a news report. I'm sure more will be coming out offering today.
Correct.
From the chat line as well. It's because the U.S. offers sick care, not health care.
Right.
And we've talked
Bingo.
about that so many times when it comes to natural remedies and health causes. And obviously, if you could have the cure to cancer, you could take care of diabetes right here. But if you are not in a white coat or went to a normal school and have DR in front of your name, nobody's going to give you a credit because they want you to jump through the hoops of the system. I'm not saying it's a bad system. I'm just saying, as we've talked before, people are taught to treat symptoms as doctors. They're not taught to prevent these from the get-go.
Correct.
And there
doesn't
is a
behoove them.
reason.
Yep.
Also, remember that COVID bonuses were really big for the hospitals that they received.
That's right. And never forget that, because we saw so many loved ones sitting in the hospital with these ventilators on. And then we come to find out that these ventilators, the hospitals were getting $30,000 for each person on a ventilator. So we can't ever forget that. And the only good thing about COVID is that it really did expose not only the hospitals being corrupt, but that our government was involved in corrupting the hospitals. So that WashU, that thing happened there too. And all of this is very eye-opening. And I do thank God for COVID, only in the fact that there's so many things that people didn't care about until 2020. And now mama bears, daddy bears are not putting up with it anymore. So there's always a silver lining in everything. So if your eyes are open and you want to fight the good fight, once these people expose themselves, and that's what they keep doing. The Democrats for years and the Uniparty for years did it little by little by little. And then when Trump got in, they knew, oh, damn it, that guy isn't part of us. He's going to expose it. So they have literally lit a match and has a big flame now of hurrying up and hurrying up and hurrying up. And they're trying to do everything that they can quickly because they know we know now. So they're not even hiding what they've been doing to us for decades. And Susan saying the medical personnel seem different since the C. I agree on two different levels. What
would that mean, medical personnel seem different?
Well, I don't know what she means, but I know I personally look at the medical personnel differently. Mm-hmm. I trusted people prior to probably 2019 to a certain extent. Now I don't trust any medical person, not even a lot of my doctors I used to like, because most of them wanted to put a mask on my face, tell me to take the jab. And so I no longer look at them with the same respect. I now do my own research. I don't want my children to have things they try to have them have before, and I don't think I'm alone there. So speaking for me only, I think I look at them differently. And I think doctors now know they're not on the pedestal they used to be.
Robert says the Trump campaign and the Republican National Committee sued the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, and others Monday for allowing federal Veterans Affairs and Small Business Administration sites to be used for voter registration efforts. Under Michigan law, the authority to make such designations is held solely by the legislature, the filing said. Just some breaking news that we wanted to put out there, because Michigan is obviously one of those swing states, those battleground states that we were talking about. Troy says, I still see people wearing masks. Damn, that fresh air is a killer, isn't it? Right? I tell them, yeah, but whatever. I know.
It surprises me too, Troy, that I look and people have masks on. And I know some people have always worn masks when they're cutting the grass because they have asthma, or people that are asthmatic. That being said, I don't think anything of that, but I think people who are healthy, I see young men that have masks on their face walking around, especially more in St. Louis than I do where I live. And that never ceases to amaze me. Never. I just don't understand. I understand if somebody believes that their allergies are going to, rev up their asthma. I get that. But anything else, why is this young 20-year-old kid wearing it on? And then they know, I guess it's still virtual signaling because that mask is still down there barely over their mouth. So I don't know. You just know that I pray for somebody like that when I see it, knowing that they have been indoctrinated. They don't understand. A lot of those kids are still very nice human beings. In my mind, I want to call them a dumbass, but then I realize they just don't know. They just don't know.
Addie says, unfortunately, my doc did not really promote the jab. My doc is conservative. How about that? There are, and were a few there, but you also have to answer to people who are higher above you.
That's right.
And when that happens, you have to do it, or you could get fired, or you call our guy, David Gregory.
Yeah, for sure.
And he takes care of you because, like I said, he was 7 for 7 in people keeping their jobs when they were trying to be fired because they refused to take the cupcake. So those things can happen as well. This is cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house as well. Still to come, like we said, in the 9 o'clock hour, we have all, and what a huge night it was for the RNC, all, or at least bits and pieces of what happened last night. Ron DeSantis, and I can't wait to talk about him. Even though, in our humble opinion around here, he may have jumped the gun trying to run for president, look how fast he has rebounded. If you talk in conservative circles, he has rejuvenated himself. He's rose from those ashes, don't you think? I mean, a lot of people he was outstanding last night. Vivek was outstanding. You had violence at the forefront of how this country needs to change, talked about last night. A lieutenant governor, Mark Robinson, awesome. The first black lieutenant governor of the state of North Carolina, who hopes to be the first governor of the state of North Carolina. That is also a black man. Sarah Huckabee, Nikki Haley. It was a huge job. I don't know how the RNC can get any better, but tonight J.D. Vance will be there. And of course, Donald Trump tomorrow night. Somebody who knows all those people well is one of the front runners right now, Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, the state of Missouri, running for the Missouri governor position. He joins us this morning. We always love it when we get a chance to talk with Mike Kehoe. Once again, we always love it when people look good and they sound good. Mike, good morning. Thanks for taking time with us today.
You must have a special camera on your end to make me look good and sound good, but thank you, Vic and Lizzie. It's great to be on with you.
No, you do. You look, hey, you know what? Right out of the gate, you've been watching the RNC, I'm sure. I know you've been out busy, campaign stops, as you try to put the final pieces of the puzzle together before the election coming up first week of August. But your initial thoughts on the first 2 nights, I don't think it could be any better.
Yeah, it's been amazing. And, how the tables have turned. It's incredible how history has played to where we are today, including the events of this weekend. And, you talk about trying to do everything they can to this poor guy. They've tried to bankrupt him, throw him in jail, kill him. I mean, it's been unbelievable. And Trump and the supporters and even the fringe supporters have risen to a level that is, this is insane. And we've got to really do something to unite this country. And if you want somebody who can do that, it's Donald J. Trump. I thought last night, I was in Camden County until late last night, but I watched some video when I got home. The impactfulness of having families who have experienced fatalities and losses through illegal immigrants were unbelievable. I thought that was incredible because it's real. This isn't a scripted deal. This isn't somebody running for office. These are real families who have real pain. We just saw that happen in Jefferson City just a few nights here ago. An illegal alien hit and killed somebody on one of our highways. So, this is happening in communities all across the country, including the state of Missouri.
We're talking with Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, one of the front runners right now to be the governor of the state of Missouri coming up. I know Lizzie was excited to get you on again today as well.
Absolutely. A lot of people like to hear you, and we feel honored that you are on here with us today. And a lot of people have a lot of questions, just even about the governor's race, because there's 3 of you running and 2 of you seem to be far out ahead. Could you tell us why you think you would be the best person for the job?
Well, great. Lizzie, and thank you. It's my honor to be on with you. So the tables are turned on that comment. And I appreciate you having me on time. My perspective of how to govern is much different than the other people in the race. You guys have had me on before. I'm from North St. Louis City, a single mother. My dad left when I was a year old. We worked our way through very, very hard times in our family. Was able to build several successful businesses with the help of a lot of people, including my mentor, Dave Sinclair, there in South St. Louis County. Went on to do manufacturing business and retail, a first-generation farmer, 40 years in the cow-calf business. And so all of those unique experience for me give me a different perspective than the other folks in the race. I actually am a person who believes in keeping your conservative core Christian common sense values and actually governing at the same time. I'm not a screamer. I'm not a holler. I don't throw bombs. That's just not me. I believe in actually getting things done and working together.
I think that's great. And when I heard your story, when you came on the first time, I had already known it, but for you to tell all of us about that was so great. And when I didn't really know very much about JD Vance, and when he told his story, you literally came to mind. So I thought, wow, I bet Mike Kehoe likes that choice, but maybe I'm wrong. What do you think about him as the VP choice?
No, he's inspiring. And I believe it's a great pick by the president, because a lot of people are wanting to talk about age in this race. And by the way, if you think Donald Trump's age is a problem, you didn't see him jump up after being shot and say, fight, fight, fight the other day. Right. It was amazing. Nobody can teach or train that. That's gut instinct. But the pick to JD shows that he's willing to understand what our future is all about. President Trump clearly understands he's on a 4-year cycle here, and we've got to keep good conservatives in the White House. And that pick to JD, that's the nod I saw in that, is that he was picking the future. JD's story is incredible. I've read it. Obviously, he has a movie. Somebody asked me last night, we have a book out there. Like, is your book as good as JD Vance's? I said, I don't think it will ever be as good as his, but certainly our story gets told in print as well.
Yeah, but you're also talked about being a super humble guy, despite how hard you've worked and the success that you've had in your life so far. Talking with Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, it wasn't that long ago, Mike. I mean, I don't know, just a month and a half, 2 months ago, where we're talking about a sentencing date for Donald Trump. And then here we are from a national standpoint right now, where I can't imagine things being any better for conservatives. They're going to have another great night tonight with JD. Tomorrow night, Donald Trump picks up on that. And then I've always believed that a lot of these states, like we have in Missouri, where it trickles down. I mean, when you're out campaigning, are you being talked to and asked a lot of questions about your relationship with Donald Trump? Because I know you have one with him.
Yes, we do. And, I was in the Elks Lodge in Farmington, Missouri, Saturday night when the assassination attempt happened. And somebody came up to me and said, somebody took a shot at President Trump. I thought they meant verbally, just another verbal attack on the guy. Just an amazing turn of events, to your point. President Trump has, done, you talk about resiliency. And that's what our party and the conservative movement, in my opinion, is all about. We kept the faith. Many people that are Missourians and your listeners and watchers of these podcasts, we've kept the faith and kept pushing forward and didn't let all this noise about how they were going to charge the president with this and he did this and he did that get in our way of letting him get back to governing and putting good conservative values, shutting our immigration system down, stopping the Chinese fentanyl from coming across our border. All the things that we know President Trump has done good has really risen to the front. And we're excited to be in the spot. I think the momentum is definitely on our side.
Well, and one question is, speaking about momentum, I have a lot of friends that own land, and every farmer I know, to be honest, they're all voting for you. And so before I met you, I was like, I'm surprised. Isn't he the guy that sold the land to China? And every farmer that I'm talking to goes, that's just a rumor, because why would I be voting for him if he sold it? So if you could clear that up, because
please, Mike, please
just clear that up once and for all, because I literally
Well,
every farmer I know is voting for you.
Lizzie, every statewide ag group, from Farm Bureau to cattlemen's to corn to soybean to forest products, has endorsed our campaign. They represent tens of thousands of members. They would be not endorsing our campaign if we were opening the door and selling land to China. Like I said, when you get in the front, a year ago, 25 points down, everybody's like, Kehoe should just pack his bag and go home. There's no chance he can win. We've worked very hard with the support of a lot of people. A lot of Missourians have supported our efforts. And now that we're in a position where we're either tied in some polls or ahead, and it seems like we can win, we've got a big target on our back. So they're going to unload the dump truck on all kinds of stuff I never even knew I did. And so I tell people all the time, there's only one Bible, and it's not Facebook. But I have been very clear that we will not sell land to the enemies of our country, including China, Russia, Venezuela, Cuba, et cetera, period. But I'm not also going to balance it on the backs of farmers. It should be any business. It shouldn't just be agriculture. It should be the store down the street in the middle of downtown St. Louis. It should be farmland. We are not going to allow the enemies of our country to buy land, period. The agricultural community understands that. They know that's my position. I stood next to Governor Parson when we signed an executive order to make sure they were not allowed to buy within 10 miles of a military base, which is all the Constitution authority allowed him to do. And we will call for the legislature, and we will team up with the legislature to make sure the rest of that legislation gets put through should I become governor. And you need somebody like me who understands how to get both sides to come together to actually get that done. I'm not a quitter. I'm a fighter. And we're going to make sure that that gets forward so Missourians can be comforting and know that we don't have enemies of our country owning property in this state.
Well, Mike, that is so true. I mean, people just make stuff up. And then once it is on the Facebook Bible, people just believe it. And I didn't realize how
campaigns get involved too.
They do. Campaigns get
and
involved.
PACs get involved.
Which
and
even the
a lot of
candidates don't
money.
even know.
And then I know people will go back and forth and they'll attack each other. From the chat line, Glenn says, wasn't Schmidt accused of that as well? Talking about Eric Schmidt, who, by the way, we'll get to later, who was also a speaker last night.
He did a good job, didn't he? I served with Eric in the Senate, so really proud to see him up there representing our state in such a prominent position. He's done a really good job.
Yeah, he did. I was pretty impressed. And I liked how he even focused in on Missouri and reminded us the name of the towns here in Missouri, like Independence and Liberty and Defiance. And I was like, you go, Eric.
He was.
Go.
Yep,
he's a great orator. I've known him a long time, even before I was in politics, and he was in the House here as a local car dealer. I ended up fixing most people's cars that were elected officials right down the street from our dealership, and Eric Schmidt was one of them. But he's a great family. He's passionate. His story on how his grandfather and father started with nothing and worked their way through all the way his father worked for Anheuser-Busch for many years. It's a great story as well.
Mike, one of my best friends just chimed in on the chat line, and you know what? He's frustrated because he moved here. He was a New Yorker, moved to St. Louis, believed in starting a business in St. Louis City, in North St. Louis, of all places, super successful business. And he has pretty much been forced to move to St. Louis County, West St. Louis County, because he's sick of dealing with crime, not being able to get police help. People who are strung out on drugs and homeless all over his business grounds. He is in the process of building and spending a lot of money that he didn't want to move to a safer area. With that being said, is there really a plan for saving St. Louis as a governor when you come in, or is it a process that's going to take a generation or two?
Well, Vic, this is very personal to me. As you guys both know, I grew up in North City. And I can tell you about crime firsthand. I can tell you where I got my first pistol from. It wasn't at the grocery store. It was at the Bass Pro Shop. It was out in front of my house after a big gang fight. That's the problem with politicians, by the way. They keep wanting to impose these restrictions on citizens' Second Amendment rights. And guess what? The people who are causing these problems didn't go to the store and buy the dang thing. They got it just like I did. And so I know very much about crime. I've experienced it firsthand. Yes, we can save St. Louis, and we have to. It's the economic engine of our state. The St. Louis region, including St. Charles and Franklin County and Jefferson County, represents about 44% of our state's GDP. It's the front door to the rest of the house of the state. And that's why when our hand comes off the Bible, we will enact a day one crime plan. We're the only candidate that has all four of the statewide law enforcement organizations endorsement: Fraternal Order of Police, State Troopers Association, sheriffs, chiefs, etc. They believe that I will do what it takes to get the resources into these communities to back the men and women who are protecting our communities and get those communities, specifically the St. Louis community, turned around. The politicians there have failed us. They're playing with this woke mentality of craziness, like they want to send social workers to somebody's front door. I grew up in the hood. I can tell you about social workers coming to the door. It's not going to work. We're down 350 officers in just St. Louis City alone. We're going to build that police force back up. We're going to get our communities back. The people in those communities where I grew up, they want their communities back. They want safety. We're going to deliver that, and we're going to make sure these businesses know we're there to protect them, honor the jobs they're creating, and let them continue to go on with economic development in these communities like they should be. And that's what our state's going to be proud of.
Well, and that's exciting because St. Louis City, I absolutely love it. But a lot of people are afraid to go down there. And now they're afraid because we're being told that illegals are coming into our state in droves. And someone on our chat line is asking, when you become governor, what is going to happen to the illegals? What is your plan to get the illegals out of the state of Missouri?
I've been to the border twice. My wife and I dispatched the 1251st National Guard unit out of Neosho last fall. And then as a commitment to their family, we went and saw them in Laredo, Texas. And then I went to McAllen, Texas to visit our Highway Patrol men. What's coming across the border is way worse than what you see on TV. It's absolutely out of control. We have to lock the border down. We need President Donald J. Trump to get into office to make sure that happens. Because right now, you don't have to have land with Mexico to be a border state. Every state is a border state. Missouri has an estimated 77,000 illegal aliens. We had over 1.3 times of amount of fentanyl, Chinese deadly fentanyl, come into our state that would kill our entire population. It's just unbelievable what's happening. So what we're going to do is simple. We're going to make sure that we have laws in effect that prosecutors will actually enforce, that tell these fentanyl dealers, if you sell fentanyl to someone, you're going to be charged with attempted murder. If you sell fentanyl to somebody that kills them, you're going to be charged with murder. We're going to get those people out of the state so they're not killing our citizens anymore. Fentanyl is the number one killer of Missourians 18 to 44 in the state of Missouri, and it's coming from China. It's coming up through our border. We're going to make sure we crack down on those people, get them out of our state, and do what we have to do to reinforce that with Governor Abbott or whoever else. But again, if the federal level, if we can get this started with Donald J. Trump, I think locking our border down gets much better, and then we become a much better state because of all that.
Well, it sounds good. And my God, do we have to do something there? We also had somebody from the chat line, Mike, who just said, yep, recent St. Louis Police Academy, the graduating class, 9 officers. 9. When you consider over
That's
300
sad.
that is open right there. But you're going to have to deal with Tashara Jones, and you already know that if she's still in office, and she didn't want Mike Parsons' help. She didn't want Eric Schmidt's help when he was trying to offer her a loan to help pay off debt and say, hey, instead of paying us, you can add more officers. She refused that. I mean, I wish you the best if you are governor dealing with what we've had to see in the city.
You know, St. Louis City residents are tired of this woke mentality, as I mentioned before. They're so far to the left. They're so far out of touch with the people that live there. I've walked the streets in both North St. Louis, South St. Louis, Central West End. I've knocked on doors and talked to people about crime. They want their communities back. They want to go out and paint the handrail of their house without getting shot at. And so they want the police on the street. Community policing and friendly policing is what it's all about. Look, many years ago, the cops in St. Louis had 2 things on their belt. They had a nightstick and a key to a call box. Mm-hmm. They walked up and down the streets. They knew the neighbors. The neighbors knew them. Safety was in our community. You can't do that when you're 350 officers down and you're in an environment like you just mentioned that doesn't condone enforcing and protecting our laws and the men and women who walk the streets.
That is so true. My grandfather was a sergeant back in the day in St. Louis City, and my dad was a beat officer, and my uncle was a detective. And exactly what you said, they literally didn't have a gun on them back in the day.
Nope.
And now you can't even walk the streets without being afraid of getting shot. So we definitely need someone that is pro-police and will put people in place to keep people safe, not only in the suburbs or in the country, definitely in the city as well, because we all like to go to a Cardinal game.
Yeah, like I said, when our family was struggling, it was the policemen and women of North St. Louis that helped us out. My Uncle Jake was chief of police of St. Louis City. My godfather's a guy named Joe Murphy. His grandson now is in the police force and actually runs the St. Patrick's Day Parade. So St. Louis policemen have always been in our lives, and they're the ones really who helped our family out when we needed it the most, including Mr. Sinclair, as you know, was a St. Louis City policeman. So I'm not turning the back on my back on my family members up there that are in the law enforcement. We're going to get what they need to do what they want. And Tashara is going to have to come along. I've had these conversations with her. This isn't something I'm saying behind her back. I've told her, Tashara, we need to save the community, because if you don't, you get a big oversized fork and just stick it in the middle of St. Louis, because you're going to be done. Economic development, jobs, and opportunity. People don't have hope in the city. We have to have hope, economic development, and jobs for that community to prevail. And we have to have safety for all those things to work.
As you reach the final days here before the primaries take place, What's important? What's up for your campaign? We had somebody that said they wish they would have seen you at the forum that took place recently. We knew you already had a fundraiser that was scheduled because we talked about this that you had going on. Is it important to be around the other candidates, or what can people expect to see from you in the final weeks leading up?
We're doing multiple media interviews every day. We had a conflict on that. It wasn't really a fundraiser. It was something with Jefferson County Sheriff that we ended up at another event. We had 2 or 3 events that night, actually. But, 30, 60 days ago, when nobody thought we could win, we mentioned, debates, and everybody's like, no, we're not going to do those. So we went out and wrapped a 45-foot bus. My wife and I paid for this personally, and we put a campaign together to barnstorm the state over 90 days. We're not leaving that joker parked in our driveway. We're doing 6 to 8 events every day. We've now done 5,300 miles and 147 events. In 7 weeks. We've got 20 more days to go. We'll get another 50 some events in. We are going everywhere in the state and taking our message right into the backyards of Missourians, right to their family farms, right to their factory floors. And anybody who watches us on social media can know we didn't duck something or another because we just sat at home and ate bonbons. We were at another commitment somewhere else. We're not going to break our commitment. We're going to keep going out and seeing Missourians. We'd love people to come and see us. There's tons of stops they can come see us at. And we're going to keep working the state. We're going to deliver the message that we've already talked about. Crime and immigration is the number one thing that everybody talks about. We believe we're in the best position to handle those 2 issues. Based on my background, based on the endorsements we have, we're not going to stop working. We're going to work all the way to August 6th. And it would be an incredible honor and very humbling, trust me, very humbling for me to be able to have the trust of Missourians to move this state forward.
That bus is the coolest thing.
Yeah.
Have you seen that bus?
I haven't.
People are signing the bus.
I know. I saw that.
Oh, I did see it. I did
yes,
see it.
we
I
need to
did.
sign that bus, Vic.
And so, guess a couple of weeks ago, who comes up to me and says, Ozzie Smith says, I want to sign the bus. I said, I don't know, Ozzie, if there's enough room for you, but we put him on there. Last night, Coach Gary Pinkel signed the bus. I mean, we have thousands and thousands of signatures on this bus now. And it's like your inner 6-year-old child comes out when your mother would slap your hand and say, don't write on the wall. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, I get to put a magic marker on that bus.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. People are writing us messages. They're praying for us. They're saying, go, Kehoe, go. I mean, and we have signatures from every corner of this state. It's been amazing.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind, in our show's mind, from the standpoint of when people get a chance to actually sit down with you, regardless of who everybody follows, who they like for governor, that this is a good setting for you because you get a chance to actually explain. A lot of times, if it's TV or radio, there's quick sound bites, and you may not get a chance to hear everything that's behind a story, behind a vision. So we're grateful that you give us the time that you do, and that's what we can do here. We can have extended interviews where we actually get to know somebody and policy and where you're going. I know Lizzie asked you this too because we have a lot of people who are just coming in. I always look at a conservative vote right now. You just talked about it at the national level. Last night's RNC was about crime and immigration and how it was so much better under Donald Trump. A lot of those issues come to Missouri, and I see that maybe even with some of your candidates saying, yeah, you guys sound alike. What do you think that might be different to separate you and the other 2 who are running that we know of from the Republican standpoint?
Well, for our crime plan, for instance, as I mentioned, we have the statewide law enforcement organizations who are helping develop the crime plan. We're going to make Missouri the most friendliest state for law enforcement and retention and recruitment in the United States. There's several other states that have some models that, quite frankly, we're going to try to copy and implement here. But we really are going to create a pool of law enforcement officers for any law enforcement jurisdiction to be able to choose from, and then encourage these communities. And there's ways you can do that through the state budget. We call it encouragement. I call it leverage sometimes, to make sure they understand that getting the communities back and bringing their safety back is important. Prosecutors is an equal part of that. You have some prosecutors in the St. Louis area, St. Charles, et cetera, that are really good. And you've had some prosecutors that you struggled with. I'm super happy. Gabe Gore has done a really good job, but that's a great example of when you have a prosecutor who's literally not at work, not prosecuting the criminals, letting them out before the police get their paperwork done, things go amok pretty quickly. So getting the right prosecutors and using our office to make sure we advocate for those people. And then last, I would tell you, any of your listeners that say, well, each candidate, I'm sure, is saying they want to crack down on crime. I actually understand how to govern and get things done. And I would say that's a big difference from me to everybody else. They can scream and holler and tell you all the things they want to do. The reality is some of those guys have been in office, have had bills to do certain things that they claim they're going to get done as governor, but they've never even been able to get the bill out of committee because they don't have any relationships in the building. And so relationships and understanding how to govern is important. Anybody who knows me, who's worked with me in my automotive business and our manufacturing business, any of our businesses, including in the political world, knows I'm a person that wants to put relationships together, keep my common core Christian values that I will never, ever, ever let go of, and make sure that we govern the state accordingly.
Well, and you just said that. Somebody asked a question, but I think what you just said basically answers that. Paul says, what is your strategy to get all the so-called supermajority conservatives all on the same page? And the thing that you said stood out to me, not knowing politics as much as I do now. Personality plays a factor and relationships plays a factor. You can say anything you want to say, but if you don't have relationships with people, nothing gets done. So I think you just answered that question.
Look, and I tell people all the time, we just celebrate this country's birthday, 248 years, right? And 248 years ago, 56 men got together in a hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Independence Hall, and they produced a document that they all signed. Now, does anybody and their brother think that everything that those 56 guys got was exactly what they wanted? No. They went in there trying to figure out a way to get together and move the country forward. That is how this country was founded. It's not compromise. It's bringing people to a common understanding to make something happen for the common good of all of our people. And so that's what you have to remember. Our country was founded on people who understood how to work with each other to move things forward. Based on my background, I would have never got to where I am today if I didn't understand relationships and how to work together with people, show them respect, and then bring them on board to try to move a common good forward. We can do that. That's my skill set. If the good Lord gave me anything, that's what he gave me the ability to do.
You've answered so many questions. You've given us so many direct answers, and we're grateful for it. Do you have time to answer one quick one on a possible merger between St. Louis City and St. Louis County? Or is it such a complex topic? Because I covered that big the last time it came through.
Well, if I can just be honest with you, if you just kind of looked at it as a business case, if I'm St. Louis County, why do I want the city? If I'm St. Louis County, I'm like, I'm not taking that mess. And so that's been the problem, is that we have to get things shored up to get it in a better space. If you want my answer to that question, I would say we need to start with trying to figure out ways that we can bring public safety groups together, because the whole city-county merger conversation that happened with all the complexities that happened and all of the 80-some municipalities you have that are individual entities around the Beltway there, everybody exploded in, how this may or may not work. But you saw a little mini model work in the North County Cooperative where several different municipalities went together on law enforcement, again, public service, first responders. They went together to create one group because they knew that they could be more efficient and they could cover those neighborhoods and take care of crime much better, instead of 7 different municipalities with 7 different police chiefs with 7 different everythings. I think there's a model there that has a path forward when you look at public safety between St. Louis City and St. Louis County that we might be able to have a conversation about that gets that process started, instead of trying to bite the whole big apple at one time. Let's look at areas that we need to concentrate on. We've been talking about crime the entire time we've been on this broadcast. Let's look at that, how we could combine resources and create some efficiencies, get better coverage for our citizens, get some relief for the men and ladies in blue so they're not chasing their tail all the time, and actually put the bad guys away. I think there's probably a model and a path forward in just kind of putting our toe in the water in that regard.
Well, we are grateful for your time, Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe, one of the leading candidates to become your next governor of the state of Missouri. Grateful. That went by super, super fast. Appreciate you answering questions directly, not him hawing around. You certainly got all the momentum going into the final weeks, that's for sure.
Well, listen, this is incredibly humbling. As a kid, my goal was to own my own bicycle. And so being able to travel the state, meet Missourians, have people say, I'm praying for you, I'm voting for you, I'm supporting you. That every day, it's really emotional as you go through this process, but we're ready to leave. I have been tough my whole life. That's the only way I made it out of my neighborhood. That's the way you make it through business. I understand how to fight. I understand that hard work takes care of hard times. And I am absolutely ready to lead this state in the right direction. I'd be honored if Missourians would choose me to do that. And we're ready to go on day one.
All
Well,
right.
I just really appreciate Mike's time. I know you're really busy and you never hesitate to answer us. So we really appreciate your time and we're going to be praying for you as well. And your bus is badass.
Yeah. And
Hey.
thanks to Gabby,
Yes.
your media director who helped set this
She's
up.
beautiful.
Gabby's a rock star. She's
Yes,
from
she
St.
is.
Louis as well, and she's younger, so she understands all the stuff I don't understand. So it's a perfect combination. But we appreciate you two and getting the word out and let me have a chance just to present my position to folks. And we're going to keep working hard. Multiple stops today, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. We've got our foot on the gas pedal. We're not letting up.
All right, Mike Kehoe, have a great day, my friend. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys, and God bless you.
God bless you too. Have a great day.
Boy, what a great interview. Look at all the time that he gave us too. The
Yes.
thing, and I don't care. Once again, I always said this before, you're allowed to vote for who you want to vote for.
Absolutely.
Okay. We try to bring subjects. We've had all the candidates in here, and I'm just grateful that we had that much time for him to speak and give honest opinions. I know the one thing that I heard so many times was one about China.
Yeah.
So I was glad that he addressed that right out of the gate in regards. I mean, and that's like the only, I guess you could say, negative thing that I thought his competitors might have brought against him.
Correct.
But I guess it makes sense. You can't even do what he was being accused of doing.
Well, and it was interesting because I have heard for years now, actually years, that there's certain people that are selling the land to China. But when I researched that, I even researched the votes on him. I only saw that he even had one vote that could even maybe lean a little bit that way. And it really only had to do with people in the town keeping their job. And I'm not going to say the other candidate, but one of the other candidates voted on it twice that way. And that person is accusing him of it. And then all of a sudden, my daughter, she plays volleyball with lots of farmers' kids, and they just loved him. So that's why I really wanted to ask that question. And then all of the soybean, the corn, the Farm Bureau, everybody that's a farmer, they're voting for him. So I thought, okay, there has to be something to this. Is this just other candidates attacking you? Did you vote a certain way on that? And I was just glad he cleared that up because, somebody on the chat line said, that we were swaying towards him. I think you and I are giving everyone a fair shot to make their own informed decision.
We've had Ashcart on a few times. We've had Eigel on. Bill Eigel will be on again tomorrow morning. I mean, we're fair.
Yeah.
We let people talk and go where they're going to go. And if you're going to accuse somebody of doing something, then back it up. And then if you're being accused and you're not doing it, then prove that you're not.
That's right. And when you research it, a lot of people, even on our chat line, was saying, well, then who's doing it? And that's what we need to find out, who's doing it. But I just, in this aspect, whether you're somebody I'm voting for or not, I don't like to see people in campaigns accused of something they didn't do for a vote. Because in the end, if we vote for people who was accused of something based on just some commercial we saw, and then we vote for the other candidate, and the other candidate doesn't have a clue as to how to close the border or how to get, our biggest problems right now is our border and our safety and our police officers. So, he didn't brag about himself, but all of the police officer organizations are voting for him as well. There's big PACs called Cops for Kehoe. So I just want to make this clear and be fair that what people are accusing him of may not be what he's really done. So, and I would do that for any of the candidates because every candidate is accused of something they probably didn't do.
Well, he and Ashcroft are the two front runners at this point in time. It looks to be a neck and neck race.
It does.
And we'll see where all that goes. Bill Eigel has certainly gotten a lot more information out. He has certainly gotten some more support. And, we'll see where it goes.
Well, and that's why they've got to get their message out now, Vic, because yes, Ashcroft was winning by a lot, and now Kehoe and him are neck and neck. Some polls have one ahead, some polls have the other. Bill Eigel was only like at 9 or 10%, but he is building at the right time as well, and we'll talk to him tomorrow. So, there's still, the polls show there's still a lot of undecideds, but I don't think there's as many undecideds as we think. I think by now, I think I would believe that more if this was the general, but this is the primary. The primary are usually very informed voters or are partial to one of them for whatever the reason is. So I think it's really Kehoe and Ashcroft's race to lose at this point. I really do. And I hate to say that to Eigel lovers because a lot of you really like him, but who knows? Who knows?
And we are grateful for the supporters that we have with the show when it comes to our advertising. And that's why we are able to do what we do here, because of the advertisers who jump in and want to be a part of the show. That is 100% for sure. And that starts with Complete Auto Body Repair, 5 locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. Anything A to Z when it comes to your vehicle, they will fix, they will take care of it. They're not going to nickel dime you. You can contact them on their site, CompleteAB.com. Let them know that you know about them from Cancel This and appreciate them advertising with Cancel This, or you can give them a call at 314-731-7999, 314-731-7999. Lizzie takes her cars there. I take my cars there. Many of our viewers and listeners take their vehicles there. Give them a shot and let them know about canceltheshow.com. Also, I brought up Dave Gregory earlier. When it comes to finding an attorney that's going to take care of any sort of injury, you go to conservativeinjurylawyer.com, conservativeinjurylawyer.com. David Gregory, he is known as the Conservative Injury Lawyer, 314-619-4230, 314-619-4230. I used him twice myself. If you use Dave for any of these situations and tell him that you know about him from Cancel This, he's going to knock off the fee that he charges, the percentage that they get back. That means more compensation back to you. If it's an accident, if it's a motorcycle, car, truck, Dave is an expert in it. If there's something from a workers' comp issue, and also something that is near and dear to his heart are conservative issues, freedom issues. If something has happened to you, he will take care of it. Go wherever you want, but give Dave a call first. Also, weequipusa.com, the site where you can go to and rent items in your community from other people. You may need it for a couple days, maybe a week, something you don't want to buy or can't buy right now. You go there. There's insurance involved. They connect people who are close to you. Also, if you have items that you think might be a situation where you want people to check out, you can rent your items out as well, but you have to go to the site, check it out, see what's out there, and who knows, maybe you might have something that works well for other people. Wenty's in the Chesterfield Valley, of course. It's in Defiance. It's in the Chesterfield Valley. I stopped by yesterday. One of the best locations you're going to find when it comes to getting some good food, having a drink or two, relaxing, seeing friends, all in a neighborhood setting, and huge patios at both locations. And of course, live music on the weekends. And we're very grateful for Rockwood Charcoal being a part of us. Rockwood Charcoal, simply the best charcoal in America. If you find it, buy it, use it. You'll never go back to another place. It is healthy. You don't have all the chemicals. It is straight wood. You don't have the additives. That's what they do when they take care of their business. And of course, Capriati's in Rock Hill. They have one location right now. Check them out. Support Jonathan. He comes on our show, super conservative business owner as well. He had this sandwich in Vegas and said, I got to buy this place. And I got to bring it to St. Louis because people will love it. It's on Manchester and Rock Hill. They really do a phenomenal job with catering as well. And there are different types of sandwiches. I mean, you have your same food types, but what they do is simply amazing. Check it out, Capriati's. I loved it as well. This is Cancel This, canceltheshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe in the house. And of course, we did a super fast hour there. And by the way, Gary wanted us to remind everybody that Defiance was actually mentioned in Eric Schmidt's speech last night.
Yes.
How about that? Defiance getting a shout out.
Mhm.
And we're going to get to Eric Schmidt's speech in just a few moments, which was really cool. And you talked about it.
Yeah, it was really cool. I really liked how he mentioned, and Eric Schmidt, a lot of people didn't see him because he wasn't in the prime time. He was more in the daytime, but he did Missouri very proud. He mentioned, and of course it perked my ears because they mentioned the name Liberty, which is my granddaughter's name, but he mentioned it as Liberty as a town, independence, defiance, and he did a really great job getting the pulse of what Missouri is like.
Well, it was a lot of fun watching what happened last night. So much happened last night. Okay.
Yes.
We talk about this and what was going on. So many damn good speeches. You can start wherever you want to start, but I wanted to jump in because I just find this Ron DeSantis, it's like he's a new guy. I mean, I know he could give speeches before, but I mean, I remember being on the show talking about his crooked smile and not looking good in a debate form. Boy, he kicked ass last night. DeSantis was awesome. And he looked presidential to me. Just listen to him talk about some of the issues that we have going on. We have 2 different sound bites for you. Just listen to how good Ron DeSantis was last night. All the speeches were good.
They were.
But holy crap. This was the Ron DeSantis that made me love him in the beginning.
That's right.
My fellow Republicans, Let's send Joe Biden back to his basement, and let's send Donald Trump back to the White House. Life was more affordable when Donald Trump was president. Our border was safer under the Trump administration, and our country was respected when Donald Trump was our commander-in-chief. Joe Biden has failed this nation. As a veteran, I was appalled when 13 of our service members were killed in Afghanistan due to Joe Biden's dereliction of duty. As a citizen, as a husband, and as a father, I am alarmed that the current President of the United States lacks the capability to discharge the duties of his office. Our enemies do not confine their designs to between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. We need a commander-in-chief who can lead 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. America cannot afford 4 more years of a weekend at Bernie's presidency.
That was great. A weekend.
My fellow
I mean, Ron DeSantis, A+.
A+.
I am so glad that he is back where he belongs in a position of leadership. I'll even say a position of power within the Republican Party. He is so good. I don't know, maybe he just had the moment where people are like, you have to go take on Trump. I don't know. It was a time in his political life that I want to forget about.
Me too.
Because now he looked like a guy that could run for president in 2028.
He looked like he was himself. During that period of time, Todd brought up, he didn't even look like himself. He looked ill at ease. We had a great time making fun of his weird smile. And what I hope is him being there is there was people even on our chat line very divisive about how they loved Ron DeSantis. As a matter of fact, somebody that doesn't even want to be on our show because we were making fun of the smile on his face. That's just what people do. It's funny to make fun of that. And you know what? I bet Ron would make fun of that now too, because he was not himself. It was awful. He was great. He was himself last night. Very impressive, because I like Ron DeSantis. I really do. And I've said this all along. I had no problem if he was going to be the president, but wait till 2028.
Yeah, and it was the other issue. When you're standing next to the guy like Donald Trump, it's just not going to work.
It is not going to work. Not now.
Not now. And we never said that he couldn't be. We said right now was not his time.
That's right.
Wow, 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 wow. Here's more of Ron DeSantis from last night. Because if Ron DeSantis needed his, quote, proof of life speech that I joke about with Joe Biden, he gave it. He gave it. And it looks like he would be ready and primed to do whatever he wants to do moving forward.
We stand for fiscal sanity, for low taxes, and for reduced debt. We seek to reclaim the constitutional government as envisioned by our founding fathers by bringing the administrative state to heel once and for all. We believe that you must be a citizen in order to vote, and that photo ID should be required before casting a ballot. We stand for strong borders and believe that our nation must have a shared civic culture, and we oppose any immigration that stands apart or in contrast to our American values. We believe in the principles articulated in the Declaration of Independence that our rights come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of the Almighty, including the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, none of this is easy, but it can be done. For decades, my home state saw elections determined by razor-thin margins. Today, due to bold leadership, the Democratic Party lies in ruins. The left is in retreat. Freedom reigns supreme. The woke mind virus is dead, and Florida is a solid Republican state.
All right.
We stand.
The speech, the way that it was written was outstanding. The way that it was delivered by Ron was outstanding. His energy looked good. I was just blown away by Ron DeSantis. And that's why I wanted to focus with him when it came to our focus on the RNC from night number 2.
Yeah, he was great. And I was so pleased to see him because he looked so nervous and ill at ease running for president. And when he came out last night, he was a rock star. And it just gives you the chills because if anybody remembers, one of these RNCs before, of course, 4 years ago doesn't count because they did it virtual. But back in 2016, we didn't have these speeches like this. We had people that were so divisive still, was not behind Donald Trump. There was people that even booed Donald Trump. And now all you feel is love and unity. And I think it's very important that Donald Trump invited him and Nikki and other people that people were like, oh, I don't like them. This is not the time or the place to be divisive. If we really want to beat Joe Biden and they're cheating, we've got to be too big to rig. And the only way to do that is have all these past never Trumpers to come out and be all on the same page. And I think, by God, I think we've got it finally. It's very rare for the Republicans to be backing other Republicans. And it's really great to see. It's great to see because we don't even have to all agree. Like Nikki had said, we don't all have to agree to vote for Donald Trump. We don't.
Once again, it's just like, it's all, I've suffered this in my life where everything looks like it's so great. And I've actually said this about somebody that I knew. It's like, everything seems so great. It's like, it's too good to be true.
And it is too good to be true.
I mean, oh my God,
is.
Everything is so sweet and great and nice. And I'm like, my God, everything. And then I got kicked a little bit. And then I'm like, oh my God, look at where we are right now. The RNC, I just wanted to continue to be so good because the RNC is kicking ass right now. They are.
But it literally took whoever this was behind it to almost blow our president's brains out in order for people to get on the same page. I truly believe if he was not almost shot on Saturday, we wouldn't have this sort of unity.
No,
we would,
it added.
We would not. We would still have more unity than we had. But it changed everything.
And there's still some dumbass, asshole, evil people that I see on some liberal networks that still want to say that it was all a setup, but not as many as I thought.
Yeah, not as many as
there's
thought.
a few, and they're always going to be out there because people are allowed their free speech and they can say whatever they want. But Ron DeSantis, A+. Okay,
A+.
Vivek. Check out Vivek. And these are the issues that they're the same. They're policy issues. They're not about feeling issues.
That's right.
They're not just about these little social issues. They're about policy, strong, meat and potato, backbone, structure issues that have a country in its best possible position, that push a country forward. Crime, immigration, money, major issues that everybody can agree on. And listen to Vivek.
Success is unifying. Excellence is unifying. That's who we are as Americans. That's who we've always been. To those of you watching this at home tonight, I'd like to deliver a message that the media doesn't want you to hear from the Republican Party. Our message to Black Americans is this. The media has tried to convince you for decades that Republicans don't care about your communities, but we do. We want for you what we want for every American. Safe neighborhoods, clean streets, good jobs, a better life for your children, and a justice system that treats everyone equally, regardless of your skin color and regardless of your political beliefs. Our message to every legal immigrant in this country is this. You're like my parents. You deserve the opportunity to secure a better life for your children in America. But our message to illegal immigrants is also this. We will return you to your country of origin, not because you're all bad people, but because you broke the law. And the United States of America was founded on the rule of law. Our message to millennials, speaking as one myself, yes, it's true. our government sold us a false bill of goods with the Iraq War and the 2008 financial crisis, loading up our national debt that falls on our generation's shoulders, telling us that if we took out college loans, we'd somehow get a head start on the American dream, when it hasn't worked out that way. But we can't just be cynical about our country, because the United States of America is still the last best hope that we have, and we deserve a better class of politician, one who actually tells us the truth, even if it comes with some mean tweets from time to time. And our message to Gen Z is this: you're going to be the generation that actually saves this country. You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative. Say you want to get married, have kids, teach them to believe in God and pledge allegiance to their country. Because you know what? Fear has been infectious in this country, but courage can be contagious too. That too is what it means to be an American. And you know what? If you're at home and you disagree with everything I just said, our message to you is this: we will still defend to the death your right to say it, because that is who we are as Americans. We are the country where we can disagree like hell and still get together at the dinner table at the end of it. That is the America I know. That is the America we miss.
That was so good.
I don't know if there could ever be a better night at the RNC, which is why I'm saying things were so great, so strong last night. I don't know how JD Vance can be any better tonight.
I kind of feel sorry for him. I kind of, because I thought Monday was great. I didn't know how they were going to beat it, because I guess I'm so used to kind of lame RNCs. Monday was great, and yesterday was just on fire.
I spent a couple hours just going over videos. I was like, my God,
Yes.
I can't ever remember an RNC night as good as last night.
I don't think there ever has been.
Ron DeSantis, Vivek,
Oh, he's so good.
The speech writing, incredible. The delivery, incredible. And the thing about it is, it's easy when it's policy that makes sense. You don't have to lie, KJP,
Yes.
about what you have going on in your party. The Democrats have absolutely nothing.
They don't. Well, they went woke. Even their party, when you go woke, you go broke.
I mean, what are they going to? Abortion. They're going to go abortion. I don't know what else they could possibly do, because Vivek was so good. Yeah, there are, I don't know who wrote it. There are such rock stars.
Oh, they really
in
are.
the Republican Party right now. There are a stable, and I mean a stable of solid
There's so many
candidates.
good candidates. They're so good. It was so encouraging. It really was.
Chris says, hey guys, just be careful. Vance can get pretty fired up too, so I'm sure he'll have a good speech ready
I can't
to
wait.
go as well.
I can't wait to hear it.
Todd says, and this is my point, how does a Democratic convention even come close to this?
Well, did you hear what they want to do?
Well, they've got to try to change something, because they can't do what they're doing now and have Biden up there. And we got something with Biden coming up. If Biden wasn't done already, and I said that he is, just wait until you hear what he said yesterday. One of the most, there shouldn't be one black person alive that would even consider voting for that racist man after you hear what he just said again yesterday. On top of all the other videos and sound bites, he is the most racist man in politics. He has been his entire life, and he proved it again yesterday at his ripe age. Oh, you know what? Okay, well, yeah, why not? Let's throw it in.
Yeah,
Joe,
play it.
I was talking about it. We'll show you what he said here,
Yeah.
and then we'll get back to the speeches. Maybe it was a good time to split it up, Joe. I think it might have worked perfect. All right. Listen to what he had to say.
Black job is. All Senator of the black job is. President of the United States. All Senator of the black job is. President of the United States. All Senator of the black job is. President of the United States.
He is speaking. Let's set this up, and you can keep it or keep it there, and we'll go back to it, Joe. That is the president of the United States, or at least that's what we call him, speaking to the NAACP. Speaking to the NAACP, all black people, all African Americans, saying he knows what a black job is It's the vice president of the United States.
Because it can't be the president.
Because it could never be the president because a black person isn't good enough or smart enough or qualified enough to ever be president.
Oh, that is so bad.
Where are you, MSNBC? Where are you, CNN? Where are you, ABC, CBS, NBC? All of you. He just said one of the most racist things we have ever heard a president say, and he did it on the campaign trail. He did it in front of all black people.
And you couldn't even hardly understand it. We had to play it a couple times before our listeners even understood what he said. He is so racist, and it is so obnoxious. And I agree with you, Vic. If you are black, I don't know how you can vote for him because he is so insufferably racist. And it was black vice president. I mean, it's like, what did he say? Like, what? I mean, Joe had to play that like 3 times before I understood what he said. And once you understand what he says, he goes off script, and he's not supposed to say that, but he said it because his inner being is racist. That's just terrible.
People think, Joe Biden literally said that last night, and let me know, but I haven't seen it broadcast or posted across America.
I hadn't seen this. I was too busy watching
but
the RNC.
Once again, Joe Biden is not going to be the nominee. There's no way in hell. I know Lizzie says he is. I say he isn't. And there's no way in hell.
Well, you know what they're trying to do, don't you, Vic?
Hell.
Literally, the DNC came out late last night and said that they're going to run his acceptance. Okay, so like Donald Trump will accept the nomination officially after all this beautiful pomp and circumstance. They want to skip the pomp and circumstance on the DNC right now and virtually make him the president. And then what you will see, if that happens, then they will not run him at the DNC. They'll just have some wackadoodles speaking, but he will have already been the president. That's what they're saying. Now,
repeat that again, please.
Okay. So the DNC, not all the Democrat candidates, the DNC came out yesterday and said they want to virtually nominate Joe Biden for the presidency, which would mean he doesn't even have to be at the DNC then, at their convention. Now, there are some Democrats that have come out
fighting. He's going to be there.
Well, I don't know if he's going to be there. He's been in the basement his last time. Okay, so if you think they're not going to run him and say they don't, why would he have to be at the DNC?
Yeah,
why would they even have to be at the DNC if they virtually ran him and made him the president?
Well, they can't replace him until after the DNC.
Correct.
So then maybe that would apply.
Right. But that'll just show you what I'm saying sounds ridiculous, but that's what they're trying to do because they have nobody. To your point, Vic, they have nobody. They don't know what they're doing. They're scrambling so bad right now. And for the first time, the Republicans are united, or at least they're doing a great job of appearing to be united. And that's okay, because there's probably still hurt feelings there. But if you, in front of the constituents and us, people of America, have the appearance of they're on the same page, that's golden. Golden.
He literally said he knows what a black person's job is.
Yeah, it can't be the president, though, Vic.
It's the vice president. He said a black person's job is tell all of your black friends.
Yes.
They still maybe, and yet there's whack-a-job, wackadoodle, evil, little angry elf, liberal elves running around. Donald Trump's not going to get more than 8%.
Yeah, come on, man.
Give the African-American, the black community some credit.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And of course, we're not going to hide the Joe Biden comments. We're going to put them out there, which is what we have done for over a year. And we will continue to do as much as we possibly can here, if and when they are said. There's no way in hell. No way in hell that man is running for president.
Well, he's not running for president anyway. His maybe outside body is, but his brain isn't, no matter what they do to him. And that's the thing, is nobody knows. We should right now be saying he's absolutely going to be running for the nomination for the Democratic Party. But you think he's not? I still think they're going to prop him up, but we don't know. They don't even know. That's the problem, Vic. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what to do yet. They have backed themselves in the corner, used every chip, and they don't have anything left other than maybe the bird flu stealing the election. But you know what? We even know about that now. We now even know that they're going to try to kill him. So they're literally doing everything and they're not winning in anything. And I don't feel sorry for him. I don't. And like Glenn said, they're going to put you back in chains.
Well, Biden said that once. Yeah, he said that at
Oh,
one
that's
point in
right.
time.
That's right. He said that. Oh my gosh.
You know, it is interesting. We heard 2 nights ago from Amber Rose telling about the lie the media tells about Black people, that they need to be with the Democratic Party. The speech last night, there was a mom. She lost her son to violence in New York City. She was another outstanding speaker.
She
And we'll
was
get to some of the other
great.
politicians in just a second. But she literally talks about the crime issue. I mean, the Republicans are all about strong policy issues with great delivers, and that's what happens. Here she is speaking a very serious message.
I don't want anyone else to experience the senseless pain that many other victims across this United States of America have to live with every day. So I decided to use the voice that God gave me to be the voice for the voiceless across America. We need justice for victims, and we need accountability for prosecutors who fail in their duty. Soft on crime prosecutors like Alvin Bragg in New York, Kim Fox in Chicago, and George Gascon in Los Angeles have turned our great country and cities into war zones. Poor and neglected communities like mine are suffering. And who else in here is sick and tired of being sick and tired? The Democratic Party that poor minorities have been loyal to for decades, including myself, all right? They betrayed us. They stabbed us in the back. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who claim to represent us, have abandoned us. They neglected the poor minority communities across America.
Oh, she was so good. She was my husband's favorite.
Yeah,
He just kept
there's
saying
passion.
she's so good.
No, she spoke as if she has done this 1,000 times.
Oh, she was so
And there
good.
is no audience that is ever going to intimidate me. And that is also a mom who has been through one of the biggest heartbreaks that you could ever imagine, losing her son to violence in New York City because prosecutors will not prosecute and put people behind bars for the lengths that they should and give police the right to go do what they need to do, as we have seen in several blue cities across America, all while telling people, well, we care about you. White people are racist. Police are racist. And then you talk to the people who lose victims, that lose their family members, and they'll tell you straight, that is passion. That is somebody who went through the hardest thing you can go through as a parent. And that is why you hear her speak like she speaks, because she knows truth, and she's not getting caught up in the woke crap. She's not getting caught up in the cancel culture. She is caught up in, I have been through hell. I have seen the wrong side, and I know what the right side is. And yes, she rocked and rolled, and she was amazing.
She was amazing.
Another incredible event that took place last night because of all of these people who were there at the RNC.
Incredible. They were just incredible people. And you could feel her pain. You could feel her passion. You just wanted to give her a hug when she got done. Just, and Donald Trump, he gave a lot of standing ovations, but you could tell he was really pleased with how she spoke and could feel her pain as well.
Her name is Madeline Brain, by the way.
Madeline Brain.
And she should probably have her own show somewhere.
She should have her own, yes.
Because she is that good. Why did your husband like her so much? Felt like she was the best.
Her story that, her son literally survived Iraq, then to come home and get murdered, she proved that our streets are so unsafe in so many areas that you can literally go to a foreign country where there was shooting and death all over the place. And then she comes home and she's not a forever Republican. She was a Democrat that, because she was Black, really believed in the Democratic Party. And then she really realized my son served this country to come home to get killed. And she was so on fire that he just said he was getting goosebumps with her. He just thought she was an everyday non-politician calling out the truth, the real truth, and lived it. It's so sad.
But it's sad, but she was so good, and she has put that sadness and directed it to the correct direction as well. That's right. And it just goes to show again what's happening in this country, and
that's right.
What can change, what can happen.
Yes.
For everybody.
And God, as she said, is using her voice. She now has to use her voice, and so she's going to use it. And oftentimes, people who've been through the worst pain have the best voice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it is, because you put things in perspective. Megan says people have got to research policies before they go and vote.
They've got to, because don't listen to the sound bites out there, guys, if that's what Megan is talking about. These ads are often not even put out by the candidates. They are put out by PACs who don't like somebody. They may not even overly love the person they're voting for. They just hate the other one. So you have to. And that's why when we have people on, we want to have them tell the whole story. And we don't have to stop for all these commercials to get the whole story out. So you have to look at policies. Even the people that were there last night, look at their policies. Look at them. Because even though there could be 3 people that all love Donald Trump, some just say it to get him to vote, and others really legislate. So you have to look at that.
Well, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson was also outstanding last night.
Absolutely.
He is trying to be the governor of North Carolina right now. He's in a dogfight there, but he gave an impassioned speech as well. I wanted you to hear some of him from last night because Mark was outstanding, just like everybody else. It was one after the other after the other.
Giving us my life and health and strength, allowing me to be here and allowing us to live in this blessed and prosperous land. I am Mark Robinson. I am the first black lieutenant governor of North Carolina. And come November, I plan on being the first black governor of North Carolina. But I am not one of the political elite. I grew up poor as the 9th of 10 kids in Greensboro with an alcoholic father who beat my mother. I love to tell you that I graduated from high school, found success, never worried about money again, but I can't. I lost 2 jobs, 2 manufacturing jobs because of NAFTA, which, by the way, Joe Biden voted for. Politicians in D.C. made bad decisions. People like me suffered. I lost my car and my house. I was desperate. But you know, my story isn't unique. A couple of months ago in my travels, I stopped at a gas station. As I was leaving, a man walked out with a beard and he looked very stressed. He got in his car and I could see him holding an envelope. My heart dropped because years ago I held one just like it. It was bankruptcy papers. I could see the fear on his face. And it took me back to lying awake at night with that gnawing worrying, debating which bills weren't going to get paid. Unfortunately, many families today are having that same experience. Under Joe Biden, grocery prices have skyrocketed and gas has nearly doubled. In North Carolina, factories just like the one I worked at are closing, leaving families feeling hopeless. But there is hope, and I'm proof. My wife and I never gave up. We kept our faith. We worked hard and made it through those tough times. Now I stand before you on the verge of becoming the first black governor of North Carolina.
Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, who said he's the first black lieutenant governor, and now he plans on being the first governor.
He's wonderful.
People, how could it be any better? A historic night for the RNC, speaker after speaker after speaker after speaker.
Did you see the nationalities presented there? And they can absolutely, meaning the Democrats, say that the Republicans are racist and Donald Trump is racist. Did you see the multicultural up there?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, it'll make you think twice. There's no doubt about it. It's so good to see all of these things that were happening. And then, of course, Eric Schmidt from the state of Missouri, been super successful as a United States senator. He's not a yeller. He's not a screamer, but he's still a very good speaker. And he was still speaking representing the state of Missouri last night, which is awesome to see, where he got to stand and share a card with all of these phenomenal speakers. He was speaking earlier in the night, but we show you some of the Eric Schmidt and what he was speaking about last night as well.
Hello, Milwaukee. Hello, America. I'm Eric Schmidt from the great state of Missouri, the Show Me State. It's not lost on me how unlikely my presence is on this stage. As the grandson of a butcher, the son of a man who worked 7 days a week in the midnight shift, my blue-collar roots run deep. And I'm proud the Republican Party is the party of working families. Missouri is home to cities named Liberty and Independence, and towns called Freedom and Defiance. So it should come as no surprise that we are sick and tired of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And I am here with a simple message. Enough is enough. We're ready to take our country back. Under Joe Biden, the rule of law has disintegrated. Crime is rampant. Our communities are under siege, and our brave law enforcement officers are constantly being vilified. He stood idly by as liberal DAs and mayors pushed a defund the police agenda and empowered criminals, all while endangering law-abiding citizens. Kamala Harris shares in these failures. She campaigned as a progressive prosecutor and even called for us to reimagine public safety. Americans don't need to reimagine safety. We know exactly what safe communities look like. But the weakness and the wokeness of the Biden-Harris administration has made us less safe. Biden and Harris opened our border to terrorists, to criminals. They allowed drug cartels to flood our communities with Chinese fentanyl that's killing more than 200 Americans each and every day. It doesn't have to be this way. As Missouri's former Attorney General, I went toe-to-toe with the radical defund the police crowd and had the backs of our men and women in blue. When Soros
last night being very strong, and he's also another guy that's getting a lot of national hype, like Josh Hawley.
Yeah.
Two guys from the state of Missouri. Well done, Eric Schmidt.
Yeah, well done. He did us very proud, and he had to do it in a time slot where it's not quiet. When prime time happens, because somebody said, well, they're not clapping and do they not like him? Yes, they do. It's just that he didn't get a primetime spot. During the day, people at the RNC can kind of walk around, talk to each other. Once primetime happens, you basically have to sit in your seat and be quiet. So I thought he did great considering it was a time that people are just walking around, and he still hit the mark quite well and made Missouri proud.
From the chat line, Roland says the DNC is terrified. I don't know.
Oh, they are terrified.
I mean, unless there's some plan that's going on that we have no idea, but
I think they're scrambling. I do.
I don't know how in the hell this country could not go Republican when it comes to Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. He was supposed to be dead, Vic, really. I mean, that's why he's scrambling. He's supposed to be dead. We were supposed to have the election halted because he was dead, and we were not supposed to have a successful RNC. So the Democrats are scrambling. They are. Their plan, their big black swan event failed. Now they've got more up their sleeve. More is going to come, but they don't know what to do because they thought he was going to be dead. And here he is alive. They messed with Donald Trump. And he's still here.
And he is still here.
Yeah. Well, they put a buffoon. They put a 20-year-old up on the roof. That
Jeannie says plans are foiled.
Yep. Their plans were
Can't
foiled.
take your eyes off them, though. We need to put a big fat red boot on their neck.
100%. Yep.
Coming from the chat line as well.
That's right. Their plan was foiled. They had different plans for this week. And now they're so angry watching the RNC. They're probably sitting in their basement choking on the popcorn they're trying to watch for RNC because they're so mad. This isn't what they were supposed to be doing. And the near death of him has unified our party. Because I don't think Nikki Haley and all them would have been up saying the things that they were saying without him almost dying.
No, that's true. Speaking of Nikki Haley, she spoke last night for a little bit as well. And I love what Nikki says when she came out. First of all, Nikki showed up. Donald Trump asked her to speak.
Yes.
And she did to a bunch of Donald Trump fans.
Yeah.
So I credit her for showing up. If she wants a political future in the Republican Party, she had to show up. But at least she did. Here's a little bit of Nikki talking from last night since you brought her up, Lizzie.
I'll start by making one thing perfectly clear. Donald Trump has my strong endorsement, period. If we have 4 more years of Biden or a single day of Harris, our country will be badly worse off. For the sake of our nation, we have to go with Donald Trump. We should acknowledge that there are some Americans who don't agree with Donald Trump 100% of the time. I happen to know some of them. And I want to speak to them tonight. My message to them is simple. You don't have to agree with Trump 100% of the time to vote for him.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis.
All right, Nikki Haley.
And I thought that was good to only play that little bit. She spoke a lot longer, but that was the great clip. And we agree with her. I think she's full of poop. I still don't really like her, but
I'm not a big fan.
I'm not a big fan. I am a never Nikki. But I do like that she said, vote for him, period. I think the word period was good because even we do. We may not like her and we might want to choke down her ideals, but we do need her votes, period. We need them all. And I do think it's time to unify. A lot of us aren't the more moderate or the left of center of Republicans, but we do need their votes. We do need them. And so just because I don't agree with somebody doesn't mean I don't want them on my side. So I thought that was well done, even though I don't like her. I thought she did exactly what she needed to do. We do need her votes.
Yeah, and she kept whatever political career in the Republican Party alive that she may want.
Yes.
And I know that we had less talk today about a lot of these people speaking, but Sarah Huckabee Sanders spoke, and I'm glad you wanted to put her in there.
I really did.
So that's why, and I didn't have her in there, but I was like, yeah, okay, we'll put her in. Sarah Huckabee spoke a little bit too. And she was our final speaker from that. By the way, Marco Rubio did a really good job too, but there's only so much time. We've shown
there is. And Laura Trump about her father-in-law.
Oh my God, she was great.
Yes, she was great too. We'll have to talk about her tomorrow. She was just great.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Donald Trump was the very first president in my lifetime to take a hard line against China, and I'm proud to be the first and only governor in the country to kick communist China off our farmland and out of my state. President Trump is a leader, and he's the leader our country needs. And if ever there was a doubt, earlier this week, we saw just how tough, resilient, courageous, and daring this man is, and we can't get him back in the White House fast enough.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders, she's still a big name too in the Republican Party.
She is my pick for the first woman president ever.
And Trump
She
really
would be
likes her,
mine.
too.
I love her. And we could just play her whole thing, but we don't have time. How she made Donald Trump, without being a family member, come to life, how he is personally, she did the best job. She showed Donald Trump is the man with feelings and a heart and a grandpa, and how he treated her and her son. I just thought she was brilliant. I've always loved her, but after tonight, or last night, I really hope she's the first female VP. She's just wonderful. And with a father like Mike, you know, how could you lose?
Yeah.
She beautiful. And she came out and she was beautiful. So beautiful. And the best thing that was said, and we didn't play that clip, was she talked about how when she was his press secretary, this was profound to me as a preschool teacher. She went and she took her son to preschool. And when she came out, one of the parents had spit on her car. They had called her ugly. The abuse she took for being the press secretary, and what Donald Trump did to her is he walked up to her when she had tears in her eyes and said to her, Sarah, you're beautiful, you're smart, you're intelligent. And she said, out of anything he's ever done, how he's made her feel made her carry on. So and Laura Trump being the daughter-in-law, they did a great job showing the human side of this man that's actually a great person, not just some icon we all see. So I just couldn't say enough for Sarah. Couldn't say enough.
We're focusing on the positive of what happened last night, but it is interesting. Robert said, look at who didn't show up, and it says a lot. George W. Bush didn't show up. Mike Pence, Romney, Cheney, Paul Ryan, even Rand Paul.
Well, Rand Paul, as much as some of our listeners love him and think he's a great libertarian, don't let him fool you that he's not part of the swamp. I mean, he is. He plays a game. All those people that didn't come, first of all, they probably weren't invited, in all truthfulness. They probably weren't. And second of all, a lot of them have done, and I love this word, have done very nefarious things to Donald Trump. You know who would have eaten him alive? All those MAGA wearing people they wouldn't have been welcome there. They showing up for them would have been a waste. Been a waste. They would have been crucified had they shown up, and deservedly so, as mean as they are. And like Connie's saying, Rand Paul is a surprise. That isn't a surprise to me. He gets swampier to me all the time. He speaks up, but what he speaks up, he doesn't get anything done. He talks a good game. He's part of them. Don't let him fool you. That's going to surprise a lot of people, but he's a swamp monster now.
It is interesting, isn't it? All of these things coming full circle with the RNC, but the positive is what we're focusing on because it was so overwhelmingly positive.
Yes. And Jeannie said it right. That's the old guys club. Because of Donald Trump, he is wanting the youth to come, and his children around him, like his VP pick, was picked because his son said so. And I agree with their platform. We need the millennials to be the one to now move on, because we don't trust those old, and I'm talking about my own age. We don't trust those old MFers. We don't. Those people have been in office for so long, and look what we got. Get them all out. Bring me in some millennials. Bring me in some Sarah Huckabee.
Yeah.
Bring me in some ladies that are moms and dads now. Bring me those people.
It's just such a great
out with the
night.
old and with the new.
And then you wanted to do something with 50 Cent, didn't you?
I did. There is, so 50 Cent, this is, okay, so Benny, I always want to call him Benny Thompson or Benny Johnson.
Benny Johnson.
Okay. So if you could pull that video up, Vic, it's just kind of a short, or Vic or Joe, whoever wants to pull it up. Okay. Listen to this.
If he comes out Thursday, I hope he comes out to Many Men by 50 Cent.
That's right. So they just confirmed that 50 Cent's here.
Oh, what?
And that he might perform.
That'll be
so
insane.
It might be a live performance with Trump walking out.
Wow.
And we know that Donald Trump by Mac Miller was a #1 selling record. That was a platinum record.
I remember when that came out when I was in middle school. Banger.
Yes.
We played that so much in middle school.
So why not? Right? Why not?
Why not?
I totally endorse that plan. Your thoughts?
100%. I endorse it too.
Okay.
That would be an iconic moment. I
Chairman of the
RNC
RNC and Laura Trump were just here, and they're like, yeah, 50 Cent's here.
Oh, wow.
I think that's a really good thing, too, just for the whole Republican Party in general, because I feel like the Democratic Party for all these years has used like rappers and influencers, especially with the black community, to influence their vote. So I feel like, let's use them to tell the truth.
Yeah, I also agree. I think it's great for the party. Like, young people are gonna love that. It's gonna be viral everywhere. Everyone's gonna love that. And the fact that, like, 50 Cent's endorsing Trump on his own. Like, he's been a Trump advocate on social media. So the fact that he's gonna come and perform, oh man, that's huge.
Yeah, I think it's authentic, man, because I really feel like 50 Cent really does endorse Trump. When Kamala Harris called into the BET, that pissed me off so bad. Like, that was terrible.
Yeah,
they not like us.
Stop right there. It goes on to say that.
It's actually good stuff.
Isn't it good stuff? That just actually shows there's black people there and they love Donald Trump. And so it's a lie that they don't. And those black men were even like, they were pissed off when one of the Democrats called into the Black Entertainment Network.
Yeah, it is interesting too. And I had a person who I was friends with in Detroit, a black woman, who said, I need to get back to Detroit because I've lost my mind because I said that what Joe Biden said was racist. About he knows that she says that it's not racist. When he says he knows what a black person's job is, it's vice president.
And she doesn't think that's
no,
racist?
She says that's not racist.
That's interesting. Is she black?
Yes.
Gosh, that is that person needs to be prayed for because she's so indoctrinated and she still lives on the plantation. Sorry, but
I know.
she does. She really does.
Something else that was interesting from last night's RNC, little tit for tat. This is why I've never been a big fan of Matt Gaetz. I'm sorry, I'm just not a fan of his. Gaetz, like Kevin McCarthy was there, but look at what Matt Gaetz did at the RNC. Have you seen this, Lizzie?
I've not seen this. No.
Okay, watch what he does.
What night are you speaking? Are you speaking tonight? Or one person? No. Hey, you're not. If you took that stage, you would get booed off of it. You would get booed off the stage. What night are you speaking?
Okay, so what was just said there?
Kevin McCarthy's doing an interview. Matt Gaetz is like, what night are you speaking? What night are you speaking? Knowing that he's not speaking. He's just doing some interviews. And he's like, if you took that stage, you'd get booed off.
Yeah, that's just poor
This
class.
is not your day, Gaetz.
That's right. And
it is not your event, Gaetz.
Yeah, I don't like Gaetz either. And a lot of people that are very
and he's
conservative.
still around, which is why I show that. It's just
it's relevant today. And a lot of people that are very conservative, they love him. I don't trust him. I think he's a showboater. He showboats and then doesn't get anything done. And I don't think he's there for the Make America Great Again movement, as so many people really are there because they love this country. Matt Gaetz loves Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And that's an issue.
Yeah. And Robert's saying he's creepy and there's something up with him. And, people are calling him names.
There's
and
just
stuff
no
too.
need for it.
Yeah. And it was just rude. And Landon saying he's right. People don't really like, Kevin McCarthy either. I get that. I get why they don't. But Matt Gaetz, he's another one that is not there for the right reasons. A lot of people think he's as great as Rand Paul. Those two, don't trust them. Just don't do it. Yeah, that's why we need to get all new blood in there. All new blood. Whether we know what J.D. Vance is going to do or not, I am glad he's a millennial. I am glad that he's pulling himself up from living with his, what do you call her, his mamaw. So tonight, we'll be able to talk about it tomorrow, how he does tonight. So, yeah. Matt Gaetz, that was bad. That was bad. And did he not think microphones were all around there?
I know.
He's just, I love cocky people. It's not that I don't like big egos and cocky people, but when you use your cockiness and it falls flat, yeah, that didn't work.
And all of this joy, all of this excitement, all of this positivity for America, not just to be right about a policy or in politics, but all of this was literally just a few millimeters away from being different on Saturday.
Yeah. 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 When you think about that.
It was not a fake. It was not a setup.
No.
All the Democrats, I personally go, oh my God. Yeah, that was millimeters from happening.
Yeah.
And something being totally different. And then now you see coming into night 3 tonight, J.D. Vance takes the stage.
I'm so looking forward to that.
And a lot of people are looking for him
to
see what he can do. He is passionate and he loves the Republican Party.
You do. And I like that he didn't like Donald Trump at first. I do like that. And a lot of people
I think
don't.
It adds something.
I think so too. I think that he's a millennial, that he didn't like him. And I know he called him names, but think about, people we didn't agree with before. And now, you see the light. I love it, people, and I said this yesterday, people that like were smokers and now they don't smoke are adamant, don't smoke. And so I like it, people who were, some of the best Trump people now are the ones that didn't like him at first. And why that's good is people like myself that liked him for the beginning. I know I look at Donald Trump through rose-colored glasses. I do. I understand that I do. So I love to sit with people who didn't like him before and like him now, and they see him through a different lens than I do. So I enjoy that.
And we continue on. And we're grateful
Yes.
that you joined us today. Another great show.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what JD Vance can bring into the table tomorrow.
That's right. I look forward to that.
All right, guys, we appreciate you joining us today for cancelthisshow.com. For Projo and Lizzie Sparks, I'm Vic Faust. This is fun, isn't it?
This is fun.
These are the days that are really, really fun
Yeah,
to
they're
talk
great.
about what's happening in our country and, of course, promoting everything good about America
Yeah.
and what we can be. So everybody
Amen.
have an awesome day. That does it for Cancel This. We'll catch up with you guys next time.